only diamond-selling dancehall reggae artist ever in music history. Bruce Melodie, who hails from Rwanda, is one of East Africa's most decorated and talented artists. And since making his debut back in 2012, Bruce has won numerous awards in his home country, including Best Artist, Best Male Artist, and Best R&B Artist twice. Both Bruce and Shaggy have teamed up and collaborated for this incredible, groundbreaking new single, When She's Around. And it's ready and it's out in all digital channels right now. Welcome to both of you, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Good to go, man. Respect.
How's it all been going over there?
It's good. I'm here in Miami. I've been doing some production and on a few projects that I'm working on. But other than that, I mean, every day you get up, it's gratitude. You have breath in your lungs. That's good.
Exactly. And what about you, Bruce?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in Kigali, Rwanda, East Africa. Yeah, everything's good.
Amazing. All right, let's just jump straight into it. Tell me about the incredible new single When She's Around and how that came about.
It's a beautiful song, and I have Shaggy on it. It's an hybrid song. You can feel the Afrobeat and the dancehall in it, and there is a good saxo with a good melody. It's a beautiful song. I wish anybody could listen to it. It's a vibe.
Yeah, I personally listened to it. I even watched the video today. It was amazing. I loved the video clip of it, how it's shot in Miami. It's remarkable. It's a really got a good catchy vibe to it, the song. Um, how did you both collaborate? How did that come across, and how was it collaborating together?
Well, I had a great
Oh,
time. I had a great time with it, man. I mean, you hear the song one time and it's very infectious. What Bruce did to the original song, which was Funga Mas, was Steve from S
okay.
Curve. He was in Rwanda and heard it on the radio and was like, wow, this song is amazing. And totally spot. And Steve is an old, he's one of the last few, I would say, left in the record guys, the real record guys, was responsible for and so many hits. And even he had done Who Let the Dogs Out, to name a few records. And he and I had a project called Banana that we did that did over 2 billion streams. And so the minute he heard this record, he was like, "Yo, let me hit Shaggy up on this," and he played it for me. And I was just moved by one, not just the sax in the front, but Bruce's voice is like such an instrument, man. It is so beautiful, and just the melodies. That no wonder his name is Bruce Melodie, because boy, the melodies he came up with is so infectious and so moving that it really grabbed my attention. On the music side, I think he had it in more of a traditional kind of his more traditional Rwandan style of music. And I said, for we should create it more of a hybrid so that we could, convince the rest of the world, which I've done myself on a lot of my music, and straight up to Bob Marley has done it by doing overdubbing old rock sounds to get on radio. Of course, Steve agreed, and I think he got ARJ. I think that's the name of those guys that
Yes.
to remix it and to really reproduce it, I would say. And we went back and forth. And when it was done, I was like, wow, I think we have something here. And it just became, and of course, Bruce went back and cut his vocals over and made it a little bit more English, because the originally was in Swahili. And it was just so good. And the main thing when you hear this record is a feel good record. You feel good right away. It brings you joy. And that's what it is. So for me, it was a great opportunity to be in something that is fresh and something that is new. I like associating with new artists and new ideas. And then I met Bruce, and that was the icing on the cake for me. I mean, such a gracious guy, incredibly talented. It just oozes out of him, and is just filled with gratitude. And I like associating myself with people like that, with that amount of humility.
Incredible. Bruce, what would be the best compliment you could give Shaggy for doing the music and obviously doing the song? What was the best part of that for you personally?
First of all, when he starts his verse in this song, when I heard his voice for the first time, I was like, yes, yes, I can now believe this is Shaggy I'm working with. So the first moment is he's a great musician, everybody knows. But beside that, he's also a humble person I've ever met. Uh, I really appreciate that he can recognize someone like me, and like we all do music, and at some point you feel like somebody like this, like somebody like Shaggy, maybe he cannot allow to sing with me, or he cannot know this name of mine, Bruce Melodie. So shout out to Shaggy, respect. I'm a huge fan. I love
Bless up, man.
Incredible. I was watching your performance, the video anyway, of the Chase Awards that you both did. That was truly remarkable. And what really I personally enjoyed was actually the chemistry you both had, like the way it was done, how you're on one stage and you're on the other. Like it was amazing. Like it was really, yeah, it was just something that really stood out for me. And I
It's
see
really
like,
it's really good nowadays with technology, with Zooms and stuff like that. You know, I remember back in the days, for me to have an interview like this, I'd have to actually travel to where you go. We used to have a thing called regional radio and regional television that would literally, you're in a car flying to different continents. I mean, a lot of these younger guys these days, they don't know how easy they have it now compared with technology. I remember in the 90s, and even in the early 2000s, man, I traveled so many places just to get my record heard, just to get into it. I mean, when I think about people like Bob Marley back in the days, I hear people argue about their tour buses these days. And I'm like, those guys didn't even have sleepers. They just went around and got it done. People did it in minivans and go. So it is so much easier now with technology. In a situation like that for the Trace Award, I would have to actually fly all the way to Rwanda to actually get that done, which we actually considered until they was like, okay, it is possible to pull something like this off. And when I looked at how it was done, it was so seamless. And of course, Bruce did a great job because he was there live. So he interacted really, really well with how the video was, you know what I mean? And it just came off really well. And no wonder this guy just got, a best artist of the year, because he's got that,
yep.
he's got that instinct. Yeah.
yeah, and even the way you came across at the awards, you just got such a vibe about yourself. You got just such charisma and the way you carry yourself. Like it's really engaging. So yeah, it's incredible. Um,
It was a very
obviously,
good. It was a good experience, and that performance was the first performance, like the technology performance in Africa. For me, was a very, very huge thing because nobody could believe that Shaggy would perform because they didn't see him arriving like this other artist. But it happened, and everyone was like, "Wow, is this happening? Is this really happening?" So it was a great, great experience.
wow, that's amazing. Um, all right, tell me about you. Obviously, Shaggy, you're from Jamaica, and
Mhm.
Reese, you're from Rwanda. Tell me personally, both what your cultures and I guess what your homelands represent to you, and your music to that as well.
Well, my country is everything for me. Um, when I walk in the place, I represent that flag. You know, everywhere I go. If you ever see me in a performance, there's a flag in the back of my pocket. I have a ring with the that I designed with the coat of arms. Uh, that is just how Jamaican I am. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I remember the first time looking at a place called Skateland and seeing Yellow Man live and walking out, and I'm saying to myself, wow, I got it. And it was all reggae. If you look at the history of what Jamaican music and the impact that has on a global scale within itself culturally, it is phenomenal. You look at from a Doja Cat to Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, everything they're doing right there is Grace Jones. You know what I mean? That's the impact Jamaica has had. You look at even the early rock music, when the Stones were in Jamaica, when the country guys were in Jamaica, soaking up what was these Caribbean melodies. You look at hip hop when Cool Herc, who's Jamaican, brought that art form over to the Bronx and created what is now $1 billion industry. You look at El General, that literally did dancehall music in Spanish. And from out of Erasmus Hall, you know, which Muy Bella and Tupum Pum was produced and released through VP Records, which is a Jamaican company, and now you have $1 billion industry, which is reggaeton. You know what I mean? To the influences that dancehall and reggae and the Jamaican culture has had on the continent of Africa, you know, and where Afrobeats is today and how it's doing so well and really prospering. It is phenomenal. You know, you look at per capita, the amount of incredibly famous people that and that have moved culture out of Jamaica. I mean, to be honest, man, we don't even have snow, but we had a bobsled team that actually qualified. I'm just saying, you know, we're overachievers. You know what I'm saying?
That movie even made it. Like that was one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying. So I wear my flag proud. I wear my country proud. And I represent it everywhere I go, and I represent it in the music. And when, you know, to really collaborate with Rwanda, with a Jamaican and a Rwandan actually coming together, to me, it just, you know, we're doing better than the UN. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're creating love and music, not war.
exactly. Especially at a time like this, right? You know,
Yes,
it's
sir. Yes,
amazing.
sir.
It's amazing. It is
Yes,
amazing.
sir. We're bringing joy, man. We're bringing joy.
And what about you, Bruce? Tell me about what that means to you as well. And obviously, you're representing such a great culture as well from Africa. So
Oh
tell me
yeah,
about
great
that.
culture. Everything's from Africa, man. So you know.
Exactly.
Yep, I'm representing Afrobeat here, but also my culture, like my home culture. We also have a style called Gakondo. So I make sure whatever I'm performing, whenever I'm creating some music, I add some flavor of that. And working with Shaggy is bringing to me something else. Like he's teaching me how I can love my country. You know, sometimes you feel that and you feel you love your country enough, but you get to the level where you feel like, I'm jealous of this guy, the way he really loves his country. So I'm trying to adapt that.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of things going on here. When we talk about culture, Rwandese people are people who are very calm. You know, they are totally different from Jamaicans. You see the way they dance, boom, 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 boom. It's a little bit different for us because for us, our culture is like it's so slow. But
Mm.
I try to mix the Afro and any other style with my culture, and I really love my country, as Shaggy said. I really love my country, and I feel uh, the big things are coming for it because we don't have so many artists on international level. I'm among of the best, so I think I'm the one who is opening the gate.
Definitely, mate. You should be so proud of yourself. It's incredible. It's truly incredible, you know?
And if you check some of the videos with him, man, I mean, you could see the love from his people towards him. You know, I was researching a lot of stuff on him and just see when he keep these concerts in Rwanda and how these people really gravitate around it. I'm sure that's where he gets most of his energy and his inspiration is from that country. And I've been to his country myself and soaked up the culture. I found it, but first time I went, I found it out of most of the African countries in East Africa was one of the cleanest places I've been. The streets, I was really amazed how just the streets are just so manicured at the time when I went. So I was like, whoa, okay. And just how warm. And of course, they've had a very rough pass, you know, but just the smiles and the energy from them, despite that pass, it's been such a wonderful vibe and energy. We kept the concert. It was just, you know, the energy from the crowd and how appreciated they were of what we were, you know, giving them musically. Was one of the most memorable one. As a matter of fact, Bruce was actually at the he was 15 years old and he was at that concert tonight also. So which is kind of full circle as we are right now, you know what I mean? So you know, I kudos to him and kudos to his country and his people, man. And he's got a big shoes to fill because the African movement right now is definitely strong.
It's incredible. It's amazing. All right. What motivates you both daily? What is the, I guess, the pinnacle that really pushes you every morning?
The music.
Just generally, it can be music, can be life, can be anything.
For me, I have a family. I do really have a family which I love, but I also have a fan base who I need to give my best. So I wake up early every morning and go to work for my people, my own people, especially when it comes, as Shaggy said, we have a rough past, and music is among of the tools we used to bring joy to the face of people. And now it is happening right now. People are happy. You can see, you can tell. And when I see that, and I'm among of the artists who worked hard to make that happen, I can't go and sleep. No, no, no. I have to wake up. I have to go to work.
Awesome. And yourself, Shaggy?
But, you know, I'm inspired every day, man. Just in life, you know, I do have a family also. You know, most of my kids are pretty much grown right now. I do have a 14 twin girls, 14-year-old, and they're a lot of fun. But you know, you go into that stage where they're starting to become adults, and that cute phase is over, and I'm like, okay, all right, you know. You get into that stage where they're going to be little assholes in a minute, you know. So, you know, it's because I've been through all those phases, all the rest of them. But you know, music is really what makes me tick. I'm in my studios right now. It is my pastime. It is what I do and enjoy. Uh, Even though the creative process is normally a fun process because I have a great bunch of people that I make music with, and they're very creative and they're fun, you know. But the touring aspect is what really, really moves me. And when I'm in front of an audience, the energy I get back from that audience is what really makes me keep going. You know, I could tour if I could tour until I'm done. Then I'll be a happy man. You know, I mean, I remember talking to James Brown, who, you know, for him it wasn't about money or anything. It's just what he did, and that's where he felt the most comfortable was being on stage. You know, my brother Sting is the same way. You know, this is way beyond money or way beyond accolades. It's just what he does and what makes him happy, and I am that guy. And so my inspiration comes from that, you know, comes from the fact that, and when I look around it, you know, I might be on tour. It may be, you know, I'd be on tour from the truckers to the riggers to the stage hands, all the way to the concession people. You know, we might have 150, 200, 300 people on tour. That's 200 to 300 paychecks, water bills, mortgages, school fees, you know, that is happening just because you sing these songs and you wrote these songs. And that has to make you feel good because you're not only affecting people's lives, you're changing their lives. You know, you could be the person that is providing, having them make a living for them to create the next summer daughter that's going to find a cure for cancer or heal something. You know what I mean? So it's a big job that we have. And I look at it as that. And I go out every day being happy to serve because we're in the service business, you know. So those are my inspiration, man.
That's incredible. It's spectacular. And you know, it probably ties into how you've had such longevity as well. You know, you've been around for decades now. It's remarkable.
You know, people ask me all the time, what is the secret to it? And I think I don't know if there's a secret. I could just tell you that I keep my finger on the pulse, and I could tell you that I try. I'm allergic to boredom, so nobody's going to be bored before me, you know. And so I keep changing it every time. You know, there's something like this with Bruce is exciting because it's new and it's feeling. It's an energy. You know, it's Afrobeat, but it's not just the same. Like you see, everybody, it's kind of special. It's a hybrid. It's the way he does the melodies. You know, those little Swahili words into it. You know, what I mean, that infectious So it's such a mix that it to me it's Shaggy because that's what I've always done. You know what I mean? It's when you did Bombastic, there was no other reggae that sounded like it. When I did It Wasn't Me, there was nothing that sounded like it. When I did Or Carolina, the world was on a whole different vibe, you know. And I came with this thing that was just so upstream and the different. And this is how I hear this song. It's like, what is this? It is so great. You know what I mean? And so I search for that. You know what I mean? When I hear something like that, I'm like, wow, I could only trust my ears in music because that's how I've survived my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely agree too. It's not cliche. It's not the same, I guess, recycled music. It's always this song especially is so, yeah, hybrid. You know what I mean? It's really,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Happy.
yeah.
Happy. What joy it brings when you hear it, man. I mean, I just, I play it almost every day just because it makes me feel
Right.
good.
It's incredible. It's incredible. What is the best piece of advice you both have received?
Oh, what's that?
What is the best
Best be
piece of advice you've ever received?
I don't get it.
the best piece of advice that someone has ever told you that you've ever received.
Ah, I'm sorry, I didn't get that well. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, there is it's not always about talking, or you can even see someone doing something and then you feel like, if this person could do this, why not me? For example, we're doing a lot of interviews and Shaggy is always there on time. Who is Bruce? Now that tells me that I need to work on my things every day, no matter if I can get Grammys or what. No, 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 no. I need to keep on going because I, I I'm still alive and I'm blessed to have this talent. And if I'm here to make people happy, why should I stop? If Shaggy himself is still here doing all this, so I'm learning from him, but not only him. We have a good team here. I have a brother of mine. His name is Coach Gael. Coach Gael once told me that we don't live here for a long time. We just pass, and then someday some other people come and live in our houses and do what we and enjoy what we've been fighting for. So, if you want to do your job, do it, but even take some time to enjoy your life.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that is exactly the same thought process I have. I say we're just service members here. You know, the house you work your whole life to build, by the time when you're gone, somebody else is going to own it. Your children that you spend so much time, you after your passing, you'll be a picture on the wall. Your grandkids would just know you as grandpa. They probably won't know you very deep. And your great grandkids, how many of you don't know your great grandfathers? I don't. You know, they're just a picture on the wall. So at the end of the day, when you talk about legacy, it's bullshit. You know, why are we? And accolades. What does accolades do for you? Nothing. You know, back in the days, we would look at the Beatles and the biggest thing. You ask a kid now about the Beatles, they say, "What is a Beatle?" You know what I'm saying? It is all crap. You are here for a certain amount of time. You're given a talent, and based on that talent, you are here to touch people's lives and change people's lives. And you just do your job until it's not until the great one says, "Okay, you have done your piece," and keep it moving. You know, people's like, "Oh my God, you wrote these great." I couldn't write. Wasn't me. If I wrote wasn't me, I would have wrote another one the next day. You know, that was ordained through a higher being. You know, I mean, God just looks at my life and see what's going on and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you this one. You're going to use this tool to actually change these amount of people's lives, and that's what you're going to do." That's what it is. You know, and you just keep the work ethic with it. The argument he's saying at the end of the day, where it's like, okay, I'm there every morning. That's the attitude to have. You know, I could never have gotten where I've gotten without that. I know I didn't have the same privileges as other genres of music. You know, he's fortunate at this point because Afrobeat is actually becoming the mainstream music. It's actually, at the time when I did dancehall, it was not a mainstream music, and no, it wasn't even planning to become in mainstream music. But I knew if I had an interview at 8 o'clock, I would be there from 5. You know, the guys in the pop genre, they'll probably don't reach there until 10, and they'll still give them the interview. If I come at 10 o'clock, they'll be like, I'm sorry, or ours was at 8. I'm sorry, you missed your opportunity, you know? So it's a great attitude to have, Bruce, and I'm glad you have that. And I think you're going to go very, very far if you go in. And big up to your guy that's advising you. That's one of the best advice he could have given you, man.
Thank you.
All right, boys. If you could go back, just quickly too, if you could go back and you're 18 again, you could change anything in your lives, what would you change?
For me, I spent 9 years in the hospital on my mom, and then the day I released my first, it was my second track. The time people were starting to know who is this young guy, that's the time she passed away. That was in 2012. Yeah, I could bring her, and I'll be proud to tell her that I'm the Bruce Melodie that I am today.
Yourself, Shaggy?
So your regret is your mom not seeing your success, not having an opportunity to say.
Crazy, man, because it was a hard life. It was a very, very hard life. And now I'm getting something to give her at least, and she's not around.
I'm here to say this to you, Bruce, that she sees it.
Mm-hmm.
She sees it. That she's now your angel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and she's guiding you through everything. I feel the same way about my grandmother who raised me and never saw my success at all. But what she did was raise somebody that was very special. And I feel her, and she's around, you know what I mean? So sorry for your loss, my brother, but she's with you.
Yeah. Hey, thank
you. For me, I wouldn't change anything, bro. I think that everything in my life has led me to where I am, and I'm in a very, very good space. I'm in a space that I'm a happy man. I have a lovely family. I have beautiful and healthy children. And I can afford the things that my life needs. I do a job that is more of a hobby, and I somehow gets paid for it, and I bring joy to people's lives. And so for that, I would not change a thing. There have been some rough, hard times, but you can't have the good without the bad. And when the bad is here, I look at the glass half full instead of half empty. So I'll continue on that path.
All right, guys. Thank you for sharing everything. It's been amazing.